Hey everyone, I'm Rob at Lake Michigan Angler, and today I want to give you the rundown on all the reels available for Great Lake salmon fishing. I get a lot of new customers that come in, they don't know which reel's appropriate for what kind of rigging, and sometimes they want to jump into salmon fishing and they go buy a couple reels and realize it's not quite what they needed. So to avoid that, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about reel selection for salmon. Alright, so let's start with Okuma. Okuma gives you the most options for salmon fishing. Different speeds, different sizes, line counters, no line counters. They have a lot to offer. It can be a little confusing, but for most people starting off, Okuma is a great option, and you can really outfit your whole boat perfectly with Okuma gear. The 30 size reels, whether it's a convector or a cold water, is going to be good for your surface planers, short lead cores up to 3 colors, dipsy divers with braid or wire, and downriggers. When you step up to the next size, the 45s, you can get these with or without line counters. You can get them high speed, low speed, anything you want. The bigger size reel is going to be good for longer lead cores up to 10 colors. It's going to be good for short coppers up to 200 feet. Especially if you're using braided backing, and some guys with the line counter version will use this for wire divers as well. And then you get up to the bigger reels, the 55 size, whether it's a cold water or convector. This is for your big stuff. You can handle long lead cores with this. If you like mono backing, this is a really good option for your long lead cores, and it can handle all your coppers above or beyond 200 feet up to probably 450 comfortably, and so you can squeeze on a little more if you really try, but I think 450, 425 is really where you want to top off with that. All these, the convector here comes in high speed and regular speed. This is a high speed version here. These are great options, especially if you're just starting out. Smaller size, actually, like this size, a 20 size, this is what I like for the kayaks. Just fill them up with braid. It's all you really need for the kayak fisherman. And you can get these in a cold water or a convector. And then we get into more of the higher end stuff here. We've got Penn Squalls, the Penn Squall 20. This is going to be good for your surface planers with mono, your downriggers, your braid divers. You can put wire divers on here. It's a great reel. It has a good drag. It's a good option. It's a little bit more money than the Okuma stuff. This right here is the step up from that in size. This is the 30. This is a great reel for wire divers. It's also going to handle your coppers and your lead cores, coppers up to 200 feet. It's like the equivalent of a 45 size Okuma reel. And they do make it in a 50 as well that can handle your longer coppers. Right here, we get the step up to the Saltus. These come in high speed only. They have a new improved line counter. It's a great drag on these reels, and it's overall pretty nice construction. The 30 size here, the 40 size here is going to be good for divers, short lead cores, wired, all that kind of stuff. If you get up to the bigger size, then this one's going to be good for shorter coppers and your lead cores. They don't make one big enough for the long coppers like 300 feet or anything really beyond 200. We get into Shimano here. The smaller size, this is a 600 line counter. Right here, this is a nice reel. It's got a great drag. This reel is good for downriggers and high divers like braid divers or some mono divers for spring coho. Again, it's a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. Very nice reel. Good line counter. And then you have the bigger size, so it goes straight from the 6 to the 800, and this can handle all of your lead core and all your copper rods. This is a big reel. This is not high speed. This one's a 3.9 to 1 gear ratio, but again, it's got a big oversized handle, and it has a very smooth drag on it. And then we get into the Penn Fathoms. Penn Fathom comes in a variety of sizes with and without line counters. They're all about the same speed. This is the Fathom line counter here in the 25 size. I'm sorry, the 20 size. It has a good line counter, and actually one feature that this one has, it has a little windshield wiper for condensation. These have great smooth drags, adjustable handle, and a really nice brake. They all have brakes, but this is one that's actually works pretty well. Same with the Daiwa and the Shimano. It comes in 15, 20, 30, and 50 sizes. This is the 30 right here with a line counter. It's also available without a line counter. This is one of my favorite reels for wire divers. The big spool diameter just gives you a lot of cranking power, and again, the smooth drag. The 50 size The next size up from this is only available without a line counter, and it's a great reel for your long coppers and lead cores. So as I mentioned, there's two different speed reels. There's a regular speed, which is usually about 4-to-1, and there's a high speed that's usually around 6-to-1 or a little bit higher. And which is better is just personal preference. I prefer regular speed for my dipsies, for my coppers, stuff like that where I often have a lot of resistance. The regular speed provides a lot more torque, so when you have a big flasher on there, it's going to be easier to reel that in. The high speed is great for cranking in smaller baits like spoons very fast, so I often like to use high speed on my lead cores. I don't use it on my coppers as much because I often run bigger flashers on my coppers, where my lead cores typically use spoons. But in the end, it really just comes down to personal preference. So hopefully that made choosing a reel a little simpler for you. Feel free to stop in the store and check out the reels in person, or you can also order them from us online at lakemichiganangler.com.